I've been a watch addict for 10 years now. I know exactly how dangerous it can be. Not only is it addictive and isolating, it can cause toxic and life-changing behavior. I was no exception. Wristwatches, they radicalized me. I can't even watch a movie or talk to people normally without staring at their wrists. It ruined my life. The addiction, it started small. When a family member, they gave me my first watch. It starts like that for many people, and I was instantly hooked. I started hanging around shopping malls, but then it started getting more extreme. I would take unnecessary trips just to see what new watches they had at the airport. My friends, they started noticing my strange behavior. It's all I could talk about. My girlfriend at the time, she thought I was seeing somebody else. But actually I was going to watch meetups with other enthusiasts. Well, at least that's what we called ourselves. I just needed to know what that new bezel from Rolex felt like, or how a smaller Tudor diver would wear, and if Seiko had fixed those alignment issues finally. Those were the days. I soon started neglecting all the important things in my life, but this was just the beginning of how bad things were going to become.
Watches, like any addiction, with repeated exposure, stimulate the nerve cells in the most delicious part of the brain. You see, that's the prefrontal cortex. It causes humans to lust after things and obsess about them endlessly. The only known cure is removal of said part, and for it to be served as an hors d'oeuvre at one of my evening soirees. Absolutely delightful. It's also the area of the brain used in planning and executing tasks, which is seldom used by the male of the human species.
And then one day I found out I was not alone anymore. There were other addicts, just like me, online. At first it felt great, but actually it then exacerbated the situation. I soon found out about newer, stronger, better watches, and I spent every penny to get that next fix. I was looking for that perfect bezel action, the way a column wheel chronograph actuates. I lived for those moments. You know, when you try these things, everything else just seems so mind-numbingly dull. The last few friends I had all told me I should look at nudes on OnlyFans, like normal people, to get over this addiction. They just don't get it. They don't understand. Typing long-winded comments on videos about how noisy a Miyota rotor is, or arguing about Audemars watches and, you know, Grand Seiko being better than anything Swiss. I mean, how can anything be better than that? How? I knew I couldn't be around these friends anymore, seeing them so unfulfilled, wearing their soulless, pedestrian, unimaginative and unstylish Apple watches. It made me sick. I couldn't live like that. I just can't do it. They don't understand what it's like to try and find that perfect, balanced collection.
One afternoon, I got the call we all dread. It was the authorities. They said he had done the unthinkable, even for the most elitist of those afflicted with the horological disease. He had appeared at Shreve, Crump Low in Boston, a prestigious authorized dealer for many brands, including Tag Heuer. Before too long, hundreds of his fellow fanatics had joined him, like moths to a proverbial flame, all desperate to seek out that last perfect watch. The ultimate timepiece that would maybe finally make their collection complete. Then somebody in the crowd called the 50 after TGV expressed interest in buying a used Carrera. Shocking.
I mean, it's as if Tag had listened to every single negative comment about their watches over the years and finally done something just so great to fix it. That more realistic 39mm size, the way it wore, the curvature of that stunning sapphire glass box and the way it met the case, and the dial, the symmetry, the luster of that blue. I mean, it was stunning. And then of course the movement, don't even get me started on the movement. 80 hours power reserve, I had to have it. I mean, I had to have it. The spirit of Heuer was alive again. I could wear this to watch meetups and be accepted by even the most hardcore of addicts. Only those of us who are really into it could ever possibly understand the perfect chronograph.
I simply didn't recognize him anymore. His brain had obviously been reduced to pate, especially after he claimed that the Carrera was better than an Omega Speedmaster automatic. Madness, I say. Madness. Quite scandalous, too.
Thank you, thank you. By this point, things had got really bad. This new Tag had me questioning everything I ever thought about the brand. My life had been turned upside down. I kept telling myself, if I could perhaps put this final four-piece perfect watch collection together, you know, a beta watch, a dress watch, a diver, and that wonderful chrono, I could finally quit. I could finally be happy.
Are you suffering from or think you may be afflicted with watch addiction? Do you find it difficult to concentrate while watching a movie or talking to people without fixating on their wrists? Do fashion, fake, and Apple watches cause you instant nausea, panic attacks, dizziness, or mild to severe bowel irritation? And do you find yourself longingly staring at your watch while smiling uncontrollably for unreasonable stretches of time? Have you spent a large part of your free time arguing with strangers on the internet about homages, watch tiers, value retention, and whether Rolex is actually better than Omega?
If so, you may be suffering from serious watch addiction disease. Call 1-800-HUGO-CAN-FIX-IT or email hugomountbatten@lobotomiesrus.com for a free consultation. Call in the next 24 hours and your brain disposal will be absolutely free.